All right, welcome back. Day two or part two of getting your first Airbnb in under 30 days. So excited to be here and excited to dive in. We have a lot to go through today. I'm going to start by just bringing up yesterday, um, kind of as a recap. So yesterday, what we talked about was defining your financial freedom numbers. We talked about the cash flow clarity journey, and then we went through some limiting beliefs that might stop you from taking action. So today, what we're diving into is how to now find an Airbnb in your market that fits your goals. So now that you've figured out, okay, what are my numbers? What is my timeline? And I've put all the BS aside and I understand the types of income. So I'm glad that we started with the foundations there. Now we can dive into probably the more fun part of this, the part that most people thought this would be, but obviously, I think you need the foundation first. So now we can dive into part two, how to find an Airbnb that fits your goals. And then tomorrow with Sebastian, we'll do part three, which is how to now manage the Airbnb that you have. So I think that'll be exciting as well. All right, let me pull up my whiteboard again, as I like to use that when I'm talking here. If you're just hopping on, welcome. Day two, how to get your first Airbnb in the next 30 days. All right, so I'm just going to put on the screen here. I wish I could borrow from yesterday, but I can't. So essentially, here's what we need to do. Day two is finding and analyzing the right Airbnb for your goals and market, I will say. So, how to find the right Airbnb and know that it's the best fit for your market, and then also for your goals. So, I'm going to refer back to yesterday's example. I'm going to go to Jenny and Johnny here, who yesterday we talked about they're having their first kid. I'm going to write this down. They're having their first kid in 12 months. So their timeline is in the next 12 months, they want to get to 4.7K in monthly cash flow. And what that'll do is it will allow Jenny to leave her job and Johnny to stop stressing out, and the Airbnbs will bring in 4.7K a month. So Johnny and Jenny here, that's what we're going to go with for our example's sake for today. So let me pull back up the whiteboard. All right, so section one, here's what we're going to dive into today is section one. We're going to go with the decision criteria for which house to pursue. Okay, pursue. And then section two today, and then section three. So section two today, we're going to dive in how to find the right house using Zillow, etc. So my Zillow surfers, I think you're going to like that. And then step three, we're going to how to do comparisons and assess the risk. Okay, assess the risk of what you're getting into. All right, so number one, let's start with our good friends Jenny and Johnny, who we met yesterday, hypothetically, on here. Okay, their goal, our goal here is to create 4.7K a month of profit in the next 12 months. Now, why it's really important to start with the goal is because when you have a goal like this and you understand what it's rooted in, what this is rooted in, Jenny leaves job and stays with newborn. Okay. When you have such a concrete, this is the numbers we're looking for, then you're not pursuing the wrong goals. So essentially, like I think about for us, our first couple of Airbnbs were $800 to $1,200 a month of cash flow. And so for me to get to my number of 10.7K, I always had this vision in mind of, okay, it's 10 Airbnbs, it's 10 Airbnbs. And then all of a sudden this lake house opportunity falls in our lap. And that when that averages out, it's like, whoa, that actually just solves the goal. So that's why the number here matters, because you could do this with one Airbnb. It's going to be a bigger project, and we'll see, like, based on your situation, if it makes sense. Or you could do this with 5 Airbnbs that are smaller, will take less work up front, et cetera, cost less money up front. So everyone, your situation is going to be different. And it's also it's dependent upon, well, what does the market have to offer you? What does your market have to offer you? So first thing you need to do, obviously I talked about yesterday, you need to figure out what's your goal. The next thing you need to do is you need to figure out what's your market. So in this example, we're going to go with the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. And area, because that's where I am, and let's say that's where Johnny and Jenny are. Now, this again, it depends on you. So when you're new in the Airbnb game, you will have to put more work in, for sure, until you build a team. And the team is someone to mow the lawn, someone to fix things that break, someone to do the landscaping, someone to clean. And you can build a team. We'll talk tomorrow on day 3 of how you can do that. But let's just pretend, for example's sake, that when you get your first Airbnb, that you have to do all of that. And that can replace a job in itself, right? So if Jenny wants to replace her job with cleaning houses, well, then this Airbnb could be really good. Otherwise, Jenny has to know she's going to be paying someone to do the cleaning. So if you're doing all the work, it makes sense to be in your local market, per se. So I'm going to put up on here, your local market. Okay. I think is a good place for us to start. So now once we have our decision criteria, okay, we're looking in the Twin Cities for something that creates 4.7K a month, but we are open, okay, to any opportunity. I think is important. Like, if you're in a situation where, well, I can save up 20K if I have to, I can access 30K if I have to, I can borrow money up to 10K if I have to, or I have 50K saved. My savings warriors that are watching this, congratulations, you could take action tomorrow. Get an Airbnb in less than 30 days. You could have one at the end of the week if you have money saved. So that's again why, like, follow Unlock with Alex on Instagram, and I'll give you savings hacks and things like that. And by the way, I haven't said this yet, but I have nothing to sell anyone watching this. My goal is to build goodwill with all of you and my audience, so that eventually you guys want to partner with us when you get Airbnbs, and work with us and let us help you run them. So, but I have nothing to sell you. I hope everyone gets their own Airbnbs, and if you want to run them yourself, totally fine. But follow Unlock with Alex, and I can help you get closer to that. So you have to define, are you open to opportunity? Okay. Are you open to opportunity? Or are you open to any opportunity? Or do you have a budget? Do you have a limit? So this is where you would put, instead of like, we are open, you could put our budget is, blank, say up to 5K, because then that does change the situation. Actually, you know what? To make this easy, we'll go like this. Let's say that Jenny and Johnny have a budget of up to 8K. They don't want to spend more than $8,000 to get this started. So that's totally fine. We can do that. All right. So that's step 1. Our budget is 8K. We have 8K saved for an investment. We want to do it in our local market, and we want it to create 4.7K a month in the next 12 months. So now we're done with number 1. That's it. Okay. Decision criteria. Boom. Now, step 2, once you've got your criteria defined based on everything we talked about yesterday, now you're going to go look. This is for a lot of people, like, this is the fun part. So Zillow, Redfin, ... Honestly, I think Zillow is the easiest. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull up Google, and I'm going to show you how to find an Airbnb. And in this case, that fits the budget of Jenny and Johnny, or hypothetical, but yeah. So we'll just type in Minneapolis to start out with. And what we're going to do is zoom out. We want a bigger area. We want the entire Twin Cities. Okay. And it's like should be a lot of options. It's a pretty big area. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do for rent. Okay. So what I'm going to teach you how to do today is the rental arbitrage model, not the buying model. And I think it's simpler. It's easier for you to get in the game. And there's honestly less downside when you do rental arbitrage because you're not tied to the property for more than a year. So let's say that, and I could do a whole training or I'll do a YouTube on, or I'll do a video on my YouTube about this. But if you were to buy a house to Airbnb, you're committing for the long. And if it doesn't go well on Airbnb, or if you hate Airbnb and if it's a pain and blah, 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 you're stuck with the house. That's what happened to us with my first Airbnb. And luckily, I had Sebastian say, let us just run it. We'll bail you out. And so he did bail me out. And it ended up being a huge plus because now we can scale and it's led to a lot of great things. So being tied in for the long haul actually served me there. But after a year of realizing this is a pain in the ass, we owned the house. So at that point, it was, well, now do I want to be a landlord? Do I want to live there and pay them? Like I'm paying the mortgage for 30 years. When you do an arbitrage, you're usually tied to the house for 1 year. So if you hate it, you're out in a year. If it doesn't go well, you're out in a year. And the amount of money you lose, probably worth it because now you learned how to do Airbnb or you learned that this type of investment would never work for you. So it's not really money lost. So in this example, we're going to do arbitrage. So Airbnb arbitrage is when you don't own the house, you actually rent from someone else, you make it better, and then you re-rent it on Airbnb. That's what we just completed. So this house was finished this weekend, and this guy, Sam, he owns the house. We are renting it from him for $3,200 a month, and we fully expect to make that money back and then some, which I broke down the numbers on my Instagram, Unlock with Alex, but we made the place even better. Props to this guy, Sam, who had put in a lot of work on the house to make it pretty nice, but we went in, made it even better. We upgraded things. We got new pictures, and when I ran the comps on this, which I'm going to show you how to do in a little bit, everything said yes. Everything said yes. This looks like a pretty good one. Let's run it. And the comps down here, you can see average of our comps in the summer, 8,400 revenue. Even in the slow months, I'm seeing around 5,000. And so it was a yes at $3,200. So that's what I'm going to teach you how to do right now. And that was a little foreshadow. So, all right. So we're going to do rental arbitrage model, and we're going to do, all right, this is good. We're going to break this down. So if our budget is $8,000 for our Airbnb, let's break down rent budget right here. So if the overall budget is 8K, okay, here's what you want to factor in. There's the rent, there's the down payment, which you get back, but it's part of the initial budget. And then there's the setup costs. Okay, so there's the rent, there's the down payment, and then there's the setup costs. Okay. Now, let's say the rent and the down payment obviously have to be the same number, and you never want the setup costs to be more than the rent. So in this example, we're going to go with 2,500, 2,500 and 2,500. And this is realistic. So you could do this. Well, I mean, setup costs, it depends on the place. So that's why we're looking on Zillow. But now we know if our budget, if we have $8,000 saved, we can go up to a place that's $2,500. By the way, I'm like really pumped. Anybody who's here watching this, this is no one ever explained any of this to me. I feel like this is very simple laid out. So now we're gonna look up to $2,500. So we're gonna go 2,500 maximum, enter. Oh, up to 200. Oops. $2,600. All right, here's all places that are up to 2,600, and the more bedrooms, the better. So why don't we start with 5 bedrooms, and we'll see what we have to see what there is to offer. Obviously, a lot less. So we're gonna go apply, and then the best is a house. Okay, that's the whole point of Airbnb, right? So now, if I'm looking in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, there's only 19 options for right now. This one is way down in BFE over here, so I think we probably would rule that out. But these ones are fine. So we would scroll through, and these are going to be a stretch, as you can tell. Okay, so can we make any of these pretty? This one doesn't look too bad. 2,500 bucks a month. Oof, needs paint. Holy moly! But that's part of the setup, right? Like the structure looks nice. It has a yard. It's in a good location. 2,500 bucks a month isn't terrible. Now the question is, are you willing to go in and paint it? If you go in and paint this place, I think it has potential. Fireplace doesn't look bad. That color is god awful. Oh my gosh. But all of these rooms, right? This is a 5 bedroom house. This could be beautiful. Like, always keep in mind, photos make the difference. Like, how good are your photos going to be? So we have a photographer here in the Twin Cities we love. I think they do an amazing job. As you can, see with some of these photos right here. And like, even like the sink shot, I feel like they made a sink look good, right? So photos can make a huge difference, obviously. Keep that in mind when you're on Zillow. This place is, I think, worth looking at. It'd take a lot of work. I personally wouldn't invest in this, but hey, if you really want to get in the game and you're willing to put the work in, it's not that bad. The bones of this one look pretty good, right? So we've got, it's going to be a lot of work. Okay. It's going to be a lot of work on this one. I think I actually toured this. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a lot of work, but you can do it. So once you have the strategy down, though, like, you can always be perusing on Zillow. So now it's fun to go on Zillow because our lake house Airbnb, our guy JFK, he peruses on this like every day, and boom, all of a sudden the lake house was there. And we got it 1 or 2 hours after it was listed. He called, got it, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, we've got a massive lake house that's pulling in, like, between 5 to 10,000 a month. Last month, $20,000 of profit. And it's because JFK was on here, refresh, boom, 1 hour ago, got it. Okay. So when you understand your budget, understand your market, you can always be kind of like on Zillow. Right now, it looks like no inventory in Minneapolis, St. Paul, for this budget, and makes sense. I mean, if it was there, it'd be there. So I'm gonna find one just for example's sake. But let's say that this house didn't look like dog on the inside. So let's say that this place, imagine the photos, right? Nice fireplace with a walkout. Kitchen could be painted. Even spray the cabinets and make them white or make them black. Bathroom could look beautiful on photos. Look at this. The bones are new. It's the basement. Imagine throwing a nice couch down there. You'd have to repaint the walls, but this one's not bad. So we're going to roll with this one. 5 bedrooms right by the airport. That's obviously, you got to factor that into consideration. Okay. So this is going to be our example one for today. I am going to come back to this because I want to explain to you, what if you're in a market where there's no options for rent? And if you're in like Omaha, Nebraska, or something like that, obviously that might be your situation. Now, another whole combo is, let's say you live out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, like where I grew up, Pierce, Minnesota. Well, if we put Pierce, Minnesota in the map, well, one, people aren't going to go there. Okay, so it's a great town, but you're probably not going to run a successful Airbnb in Pierce. So what you'd want to do, if that's you'd want to look like, okay, St. Cloud, right? And you would have to find some high school kid to mow your lawns or something like that. But you would have to look at, if you're up in this area, we were looking for Airbnbs up in the Brainerd Lakes area, or even like the Mille Lacs-ish area. So just understand, obviously, your location. But let's say that one of you watching lives in Nebraska. So you're like, well, I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska, right? That might be too big of a city. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so let's say you're like, oh, I live by Lincoln, Nebraska. There is recenter in Lincoln, Nebraska. Oh, Piers, Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay. 12 opportunities. Interesting. This one looks nice. Man, this one looks nice. This one looks not bad too. So, well, I'll explain a couple things. So if there's an opportunity, like this one looks like a good opportunity for Airbnb, right? It doesn't look like a ton of work. The floors are cool. The walls are not ugly and yellow. There's a script, which we could give you if you get to this point. If you're watching this and you take action, congrats. We have a script I could send you. Go to Unlock with Alex on Instagram, message me script, okay? And essentially, we're going to call. We call the people who rent these out, so the landlord or whoever, and it's basically, hey, I work with a rental company and we do vacation rentals, et cetera, et cetera. And in our script now, we get to say Dream Chicago Rentals. I don't even know our website, Dream Chicago Rentals, whatever we say. I work with Dream Chicago Rentals, and essentially, would you be open to us re-renting it out? Blah blah blah. Here's our website. Here's what we do. Script. Blah blah blah. Okay. Now, some people will say yes. Some people will say no. Rule of thumb: never contact realtors. Okay. So if you're on here and you see that this house, okay, this looks pretty cool, I could do this one. If you click on it and it's rented by owner, you've got an in and you've got a shot, okay? But it looks like it's listed by a management company, which isn't even that bad. Like a management company, you could also have this conversation with, and they probably or maybe would be open to it. But if this says listed by a realtor, they're not going to do it because they're trying to sell. They don't make any money when you rent. They're trying to sell. That actually might leads me to my next point, which is, let's say you're in Nebraska, there's no options. You can switch this to for sell, and then you convince them to let you rent. So what that would look like is, okay, well, I'm in Nebraska, there's nothing to rent. I'm going to go to houses that are for sale. These houses, okay, you have to think about, okay, what's their mortgage? And right now, if you go to a mortgage calculator online, okay, mortgage calculator. All right, let's say that a house on here is $450K on a 30-year fixed loan. We'll pretend they got today's interest rate. Their monthly payment is about $2,900. So if your budget, if you were looking for things that were $2,600 or under, okay, let's pretend this was $380. This is not bad, right? So for them, you'd cover their mortgage if you rented it for $2,600. So we should probably go down to, let's say, $350. What you could do is you could go on here and you could do up to $350K, because you've got a pretty safe bet that what your budget is in terms of rent is lower or is higher than their mortgage, which means they would make money if they rented it to you. And you would increase the value of their home by making it bad and bougie. So in Lincoln, for $350 for sale, all of these places, okay, let's say, and we have scripts for this as well if you want to message me script. Lincoln, ugh, yikes, this one's not bad. Okay, so let's say this one, 5-bed, 3-bath, looks pretty decent. It's needs a paint job. They all do. What kind of knives do we got here? They need a rep. Looks like Wusthof. They need a Cutco rep. There. So what you could do, though, if a house was for sale, okay, is you could call them and say, hey, I saw your house was for sale. And you don't want to talk to agents, okay? Don't want to talk to agents. So you got to find for sale by owner, or you got to do your due diligence online and just finding owner. Or if you're really a grinder, you could pull up to the house and knock on the door, okay? but you want to call and say, hey, I saw your house was for sale. We're not looking to buy, but I wanted to see if you'd be open at all to renting. If they say, maybe, maybe not, okay, you need to finagle your way in. A good book is Wealth Without Cash on how to frame these conversations in a way that people will even entertain the idea. Because most of the time when somebody's selling, it's either because they're buying something else, so they need the money, or because they're in a tough financial situation, they're downsizing, whatever. Either way, if someone's selling, it's usually because they want the money. So you have to finagle your way in here. And this is where sales skills are so valuable. If you're watching this without a sales job, you should go get a sales job, not for the money, but for the skills. Okay. And if you have a sales job, you know how to build value, you know, price proposition. Okay. So you can cook with this a little bit. But yeah, so anyway, let's say that it's for sale. You want to convince them to rent it to you, and then essentially you re-rent it. But for the sake of our example, let's say, boom, we found a place in Minnesota, $2,600, 5-bed, 2-bath, and let's pretend it's beautiful on the inside. What we're going to do next, now that we found a place, okay, so I'm going to go back to my whiteboard here, okay, is let's say, boom, we've checked Zillow every day for 3 months straight, and boom, we've got a winner. Okay. Odds are you'll probably find a winner every couple of days. Then next step, okay, is call and use the scripts to get them to say, yeah, maybe, because that's a yes. Okay. So you need to have good sales skills here. Okay. Or you can just hire someone to do this for you. Okay. I wouldn't mind doing this, but we pay our guy JFK. So JFK, if you see this, shout out. He locks us in all our places because he's got time. I pay him commission to do it, and you could pay someone commission too. So boom, they call, they lock it in. You've got a yes on your hands. This is with like the lake house. Next thing you need to do once you get a yes on your hands is you need to go evaluate the property to see if it makes sense, to see if the numbers make sense. Okay. So this is where you're going to run comps, right? So now we're at step 3 of the process, which is running comps. This is step 3 of 3. We're going to end this thing in under 45 minutes, like the last one. So step 3 of 3 is you are going to run comps. Now, how you run comps is not using any tools, etc. There are tools online like AirDNA I've heard of, and blah, 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 and they aren't always accurate, okay? So a way that I learned how to run comps is by using other Airbnbs and just looking at the numbers that are available on Airbnb, essentially what these tools are doing with their AI capability, blah, blah, blah. So let's go back to the desktop for a second. If this is what we are in pursuit of, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use this comps sheet that I made for the Maple Grove house, for example. We're going to go to example comps. So I'm going to put on here, here's our new opportunity. Boom. Okay, so we got our Zillow. This is our new opportunity. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to run on the right side here. So are we going to find comps in the same area? Yes. So we're just going to leave that as default. Will we have active reviews? Yes, we will. How many bedrooms? 5 bedrooms. How many bathrooms? Was it 3? Was it 2? That was 2. 2 bathrooms we'll leave as yellow. With 5 bedrooms, you can get the double fulls, which is what we did with the Elm Creek Retreat House here, which means it can sleep 16. 5 bedrooms with double fulls, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10, 12, 14, 16. So if you can do a 5-bedroom, you could have it up to 16. Okay. Is this by a lake? No. Are there amenities? Not yet. Okay. And will it have great photos? Ours will, right? Ours will. Is there a night minimum? We're not going to do a night minimum, and we don't know the booking yet, and we are going to have smart pricing set up. So this is what ours will be. Honestly, pretty good. Okay. I'll just tell you, the numbers are already looking like decent, but they always do until you run some comps. And with this place, like, keep in mind, if you got this one, it honestly wouldn't be that bad of an Airbnb. Someone watching this in the Twin Cities, if you're willing to go paint, this is not a bad opportunity. It's really not that bad. got to be willing to go paint and set it up. And it doesn't come, something else you want to look for is, does it come with furniture? Because if it doesn't come with furniture, then you really, then you really got to grind. But it's not that bad always to grind. We got not lucky, but this one we got basically fully furnished up to our pickings. We just replaced some stuff, painted some walls, and that's why we paid premium of $3,200. But so if this is our example, okay, it's going to be a lot of work, but numbers so far look pretty good. Now, what you want to do is you want to find 5 comps in the area to see, okay, well, so far the numbers look good, but how are Airbnbs in this area actually performing right now? That's what we're going to figure out. So where's this on the map? Right by the airport is pretty baller. I'm not going to lie. Look at that. Honestly, if I was down for a painting project, this one is something we'd probably pursue. I'm not going to lie. This is something with the fireplace out here. You add a hot tub, add a sauna in this one, and a ping pong table in this weird hallway. If I was down for a painting project, hey, anybody from the Twin Cities watching this, if you want to partner on a deal, I'm not opposed to this one. But so now what we're going to do is we're going to look up Richfield, because that's where this is. Okay. And we're going to go flexible. Stay for a week. And in this example, we could sleep 16. So we're going to do 14 plus. All right. So what we're going to look at now is, who am I competing against? In this example, we're competing against other people that are near the airport. So if I'm looking where we're at, oh, actually, where exactly would we be at is important to look at. Oh, we're right there. Man, that is such a baller spot. I think we'd be literally the closest Airbnb to the airport. So I don't think like our competitors would really be probably this, because we would be right there. So looks pretty good, but we'll zoom out a little bit more, get more examples. I wouldn't consider this a competitor necessarily, but it's kind of close enough. So 15 places that we'd be competing against. This is our market, right? I'm really selling myself on this one, by the way. Right by the airport is pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the competitors. Already, I can tell you, if we want to compete in this market, we would need a hot tub. I think I could tell you that right now. So I'm already convinced that if we did this one, we would need a hot tub. So I'm going to put on here, amenities, we'll need hot tub, and then we would do ping pong, because that's easy, and some arcade games. And then we do actually have the fire patio. So that's more of a yellow, I would say. Okay. Now, who's our competitors? This one is for sure one of our competitors. This one's for sure a competitor. This one, this one's for 7-bedroom, 7 beds, could be a competitor. They all kind of could, but you want to pick the most relevant. So let me zoom in a little bit more. I like to find 5. I think 5 is good. So here's 8 places. So 1, 2, this one is showing up right away. So that's 4. And then I would say the 5th one, this one has a fireplace. I'd say these are probably top 5 competitors. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my comp sheet, and I'm going to put, boom, put that right there. Second one, I'm going to put right here. Third one, we're going to put here. Fourth one, we're going to put here. 5th one, okay, we're going to put here. I will go back to this for a second. $2,600 a month. So I'm going to put down here, it's going to be $2,600 a month, $2,600 down. And I'll tell you, If you're going to pay someone to find it for you or lock it in for you, that'd be another, we do like half a first month's rent. So that'd be another 1,300. To set this one up, let's just fully commit to doing this as the example in the next 7 minutes. To set this one up, a lot of paint, a lot of hours. If you're going to pay someone to do it, you need furniture for the whole place. I would say this would be like maybe $8,000, I would say, to set this place up, especially if you're going to pay people to help paint. So keep in mind, you do own the furniture, so it's not lost money, but we'll say this one's an 8K, set her up. So in total investment into this one, okay, would be $14,000, okay, $500. This is important because I'm going to come back to this in a little bit, okay? And then your monthly cost here, monthly expenses on this one, okay, are the rent, which is $2,600. Okay, you got your utilities, which at a place like this probably $600 a month. I'd say miscellaneous stuff that you don't even know that's going to happen, but will. I always like to assume it's the same as rent, or assume it's the same as utilities when it averages out. And then let's say that you fully manage it yourself, so you don't need to worry about any other expenses for the most part here. Cleaning is included in the booking cost, remember that. So what we're looking at with this place approximately is $3,800 a month of expenses. You're looking at a total investment of $14,500. So what you're looking to beat, okay, with these comps that we're about to go through, what you're looking to beat, okay, is if we take 12 months in the year, okay, 12 months, okay, so we've got 12 times 3,800, okay, plus our total investment of 14,500. So in the year, here's what we're in the red on. In the year, we're in the red, $60,100. It probably sounds like a lot. It is, I mean, it is. Okay, so we're in the red, $60,100 for the year. So what we need to beat, okay, if we take this number divided by 12 months in the year, it rounds out on average, okay, $5,008 per month on our investment. So this is what we need to beat. If we can safely beat $5,008 a month to the point of like 6,500 or 7,500 when these numbers come in, then this is something that I would say no brainer. Let's do it. We'll find out right now. Okay, so same area, yes, all the way across. Active review. So the first one, yes, on active reviews. Second one, yes, on active reviews. Third one, no, not active reviews. Okay, which is interesting. So yes, yes, no, no. Oh wait, yes. Good, yes. Yes, 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 no, yes, yes. So we've got, yeah, let me look at that third. No, this is not active. So we've got yes, 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 no, yes, yes, right? So this one already, you take it with a grain of salt, but you got to get all of the data here. So the next thing we're going to look at, how many bedrooms? We have 4, 7. Oh gosh. 4, 4, 7, 6, 4. So we've got 4, 4, 7, 6, 4. So we beat 2, 3 of them. Okay, bathrooms. We've got 2, 2, 2.5, 4. Ooh, the pics are bougie on this. Ooh, this one's cool. Oh, okay. Let's see why they picked a bad first photo. They picked a really bad first photo. What the heck? This we're gonna talk about that stuff tomorrow. So it's 2, 2, 2.5, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2.5, 4, 2.5, 4, 2. Sleeps. They say it sleeps 14, 16, 14, 16, 14. So we've got 14 will be yellow. 16, 14, 14. By a lake, none of them are by a lake. Amenities. Okay, we're gonna look through here. We got a hot tub, pool table, ping pong, games, holy fireplace. Garbage photos though. Goodness. Look at this little bar. Yeah, right by Mall of America. I didn't even say that in mine. All right, photos bad, amenities hella. Hella, they got it all. Okay, we can match that energy. Great photos. Next one, hot tub and foosball and fireplace. Bad photos. Photos are not that expensive, so when people don't have good photos, it just blows me. Didn't I say bad photos for this one? Yeah. It's like literally you can get good photos for confidence. Same thing. I'd say this one's, they got it. Okay. Everything you can have in an Airbnb, that's next one, bad photos. Goodness gracious. We would stand out in this market. Goodness, saturation. Holy exposure on this. They have a pool table. Look at this blurry photo. Can't believe this stuff. Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I do these, I just want to help these people and be like, one booking, you'd make your money back in one booking. Yikes. I don't even think they have amenities. Or did I say pool table? Okay, two more quick. We're almost done. This place, amenities, pics are not as bad. They just picked a really bad first photo. But in all honesty, pics are, never mind. Pics are pretty bad. Pics are pretty bad, but they do have a pool table on, and that's it. Pixar, bleh. We'll do Pixar, nah. That was number 4, Pixar, nah. And they did have a pool table. That's it. All right, last one. Ooh, finally we got some good photos, right? Good photos, but bad decorating. Goodness. Whiteout. Oh my gosh. Where's the effort, people? This is what I mean. It is not hard to compete in the Airbnb. Look at this photo. People, this is our top 5 competitors. Look at what we're putting out there. Like, yeah, no wonder we compete. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I can't believe some of this. Look at the back and forth here. This is ridiculous. Photos. Oh my gosh, did they even try? I'm embarrassed for them. They have a fireplace. So when we have all this stuff, when we added the hot tub, ping pong, arcade, I factored that into 8K setup. I mean, we got 2 competitors in that photos. No, they're not good. All right, some small stuff. So we're gonna look at, for the sake of time, I'm not actually not gonna look at night minimums and stuff, but it's just something else I factor in. Okay, what are the night minimums? And when you look at night minimums and dynamic pricing, you can tell pretty quickly if somebody knows what they're doing. And you know what? Screw it. If you want to fast forward through this, go ahead. But I'm actually going to go through this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the calendar and see a couple things. So first things first, do they have a night minimum? Yes, they have a 2 night minimum. So the first place, as a 2-night minimum. Now, how booked are they in the summer is what we want to try to see. Now that the summer's over, it's harder to look at that. So we can't look at the summer. Fall will tell us a lot about the summer. Okay, so September, this place is, oh my bad. Okay, so September, it looks like they're booked all but 4 days. So 26 divided by 30 equals 87%. Actually, let's count these as well. So, and that's the month we're in. So that's important to see. So we'll go September booking percentage currently, 87% is really solid. Like that's really good. Do they have smart pricing set up? We can find out by going like this. Yes, they have smart pricing set up. So yes, they know what they're doing there. We won't be able to find summer rates right now because it's not summer. So we can always come back to that. September. So September random week, October random week, and we'll do a random week there. So we'll do random per night right here. It looks like we're getting charged. I always like to do, if I can, I always like to do a like try to do the biggest range I can. 314 a night. Okay, stay with me, numbers people, stay with me, or just log off and come back for the recording and whatever. Okay, so 314 a night. Then we're gonna look at October. That was October. Is there anything in September? 286, but it's on sale. Honestly, I would say it's pretty similar. Yeah. Then we're gonna look at what does it look like if I'm forecasting forward. So if we do like random time in November, including the weekend, what do we got? $300 a night. It's too far right now. Boom. These numbers already, we're learning a ton. Okay, so we're done with property number 1. Estimated fall revenue. Now, here's the formula that you're going to want to use here. For fall revenue, all you have to do, okay, is you want to look. Oops, what's that? You want to look at right now, they're 87% booked for this month. For next month, they're already about 50% booked. So if they're 87% booked for this month, this is slow season at Airbnb, and they're 50% booked for next month, I would say you're pretty safe in saying this is 75%. John Lucas, he knows what he's doing. Great work, John Lucas. I feel confident putting 75% on this guy. Okay. Dynamic pricing, yes, he knows what he's doing. Good, good, good. All right. Now, what we're going to do on here, estimated fall revenue, is we're going to take the formula, how booked are they, 75%, okay, times the average night. It looks like about 310 times 30 days a week, okay? So in the fall, okay, we can look at revenue numbers somewhere around, 6,900. In the summer, I think it's always safe to say it's fall times 1.3, because bookings can go up in the summer. Average nights go up, occupancy goes up. So we're going to do, in this case for today, we're going to do times. Okay, so this one looks pretty good. And the numbers, we need to be over 5K a month. So if you're willing to put the work in, I can already tell you this one probably would not be the worst Airbnb. They really wouldn't, based on everything that I'm seeing with it. If you're willing to put the work in to make this place look not like a pile of, whatever. But this is why you do 5 comps though. So this one comp looks pretty good. And this one doesn't have good photos, but everything else, they got it. They have hella stuff. They're, he knows what he's doing, which we'll know what we're doing. Sleeps a lot of people, active reviews. He's doing dynamic pricing. He has his 2-night minimum low, which is smart. So the only thing this guy's missing is great photos. If he did that, his revenue might go up a little bit. But I would say, yeah, it makes sense. This is our competitor and he's competing and he has active reviews. And yeah, that checks out. So I would say he's probably earning between 1,000. I don't know what other expenses he has. Okay. Because with this, keep in mind our 5K right here, this is not factoring in any management fees. It's not factoring in other people mowing your lawn. So consider that stuff when you're looking at the numbers also. But so far, I would say it's good. Let's just do the worst one and then we'll be done here. So I'm actually we'll block off comps. Which ones were the worst? The worst one, the ugliest one. I don't know. We'll do. Oh gosh, we'll do this one. Third one. Oof. Must be doing well. Oh, but that doesn't really compare. 7 bedrooms. Let's try to do one that's this one. Okay, it only has one amenity. All right, so we're gonna run a comp for the second one, and then we'll be done. Thank you for watching. And you're almost ready. If you're here on the recordings, you're almost ready to go to part 3, which is how to get and then run your Airbnb. So how to, let's say we lock it in. So one more comp. Let's do this pretty quick. Let's do comp number 4. Okay. So comp number 4, we're going to look at the map again, or we're going to look at the calendar again. And we're going to see, ooh, this is good that we're here right now. This is really good because now look at this. All of a sudden, it doesn't look like a magic Airbnb. So this person is booked all but 3, 6, 10 days. They're 20 out of 30 in September, and they are not booked at all in October. Yikes. Sound the alarms. Man, I would say if they're 20 out of 30 in September and it's late in the month, that's 66%. I would round down on that. I'd say 60%. I mean, for the fall is what I would put these people at. Okay, so let's see why, right? So if we're going to number 4 again, why are they booked that much? Well, if we go to some random days in September, it looks like they don't have a minimum, which is actually smart. Oh, they do 2-night minimum. Weird. Okay, so they do have 2-night minimum. So if we go random week 364 night. Okay, they do have a 2-night minimum, so they know what they're doing. And September, we said 60%. Do they have smart pricing set up? We're going to figure that out right now. Smart pricing. Wow, no bookings in October. Yep, they do have smart pricing set up, so they at least know what they're doing. That tells us, do these people know what they're doing? Because if they're not using smart pricing, you can look at their numbers and say we could 1.5x that because we actually are using software. We're like working the listing. And let's do a random week in October was 362. Sorry, let's see, what do we got for September? Weekdays, it's not really the same. 358. They need to discount this place. Oh my gosh, no wonder nobody's booking it. At this point, you gotta be looking the listing. And then we'll go into November. They booked, I think someone booked Thanksgiving, so clearly the listing is on. But a random week in November, 335. Their prices are too high. You can tell already. They're rookies. So in the fall, right? What's our formula here? I'd say they're booked 60% of the time at their pricing of 340 a night, let's say. And then in the summer, we can take this times 1.3. And still doesn't look that bad, does it? I mean, if you factor in management fees and lawn, you're running a pretty tight operation on this one. Overall, 557. We're going to wrap this up. I would say that this would not be a bad Airbnb. I think it's going to be a lot of work for someone, but And I don't know if it's worth the risk. I think you're close. What I'm always looking for when we run these comps is, okay, do these numbers average out to somewhere where I would be really excited? And when they averaged out to 7,000, that tells me we can pay our lawnmowers, we can pay our workers, we can pay to revamp it, we can pay our management people. And over the course of the year, I project that we're going to make 50 to 100% of our investment back, which beats the market by 40 to 90%. Because in the market, you're going to get 10% back. So this might have got confusing. I hope it didn't, but I hope it gives you some perspective of where to start in terms of, well, what are we even looking for? Okay, what am I looking for? And I would say overall consensus, I wouldn't invest in this place. But if you're willing to get gritty with it and do all of the lawns yourself, cleaning yourself, then yeah, I think that this probably actually looks like a pretty good Airbnb for someone to go revamp up. Then here comes the hard part. You have to get them to say yes. So that's why you can make the case for a lot of places in terms of numbers. You also need to get them to say yes. So that's, that is the holdup is, let's say that you find 5 places on Zillow that the numbers make sense and this one's borderline. You then need to get the people to say yes. That's why everyone doesn't do this, because you do have to be on Zillow and find a place and then get them to say yes. And then it's like, okay, now it's game. So just to recap, as we close out, I did go longer than I was expecting to, but hey, a little extra for you. Number 3, you want to run the comps. Okay, so just did all this. Next steps, okay, next steps here, and we're going to go through this tomorrow with Seabass, is 1, lock in the place. Okay, so we're going to start tomorrow with that. Number 2, now what? And that's where working the listing, okay, managing the property, okay, how to be above 70% all year. Even today, you did see me go through like, oh, you need better photos than this. Oh, I don't have this as the front photo. Some of the stuff you probably saw me say and we're like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. Some of it is, I feel like it is common sense of how you can get people to always be booking your place. But last things is like how to prioritize guest experience, okay? How to potentially build that team of lawn, snow, cleaning, etc., so that you can be removed. So this is all tomorrow. Okay, we'll see you for day 3 of 3. And I'm super excited to close this series out. Or if you're just watching the recordings, close out this course or close out the recordings here. So 601, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for part 3 of 3, how to get your first Airbnb in under 30 days, get it up on the market. Thank you for being here, and subscribe to the channel and follow